I've cheated on my husband of 1 year and regret every minute. I uh, don't know what to say for myself. There is nothing to say to make this better, but I desperately need help on what to do. I'm 21 years old. I married my high school sweetheart last year. We've been married for 1 year. He's 22. We started dating in 2016. He was my first boyfriend. We broke up for a while because I was scared of a relationship. I was the one who broke us up. He understood and left me be. I then dated a girl for over a year and was actually engaged to her. Stupid, I know. I broke up with her due to her getting into witchcraft. I am a devout Christian, and this contradicts my faith heavily. Also because I felt wrong about being in a homosexual relationship. My family never knew of this taking place and still don't. After that, I took a break and got close to God. He brought my husband to me. We rekindled our relationship and got back together. We've been together ever since. After 1 year of dating, I cheated on him with the guy in the theater I'm involved in. Never had sex, just hand jobs and makeouts. It lasted about a week. I felt horrible and told the guy I couldn't do it. He was telling me he loved me and all that. I never felt that for him. He cussed me out on the phone, called me a hole, and said he'd make sure I never had a place in that theater again. Nevertheless, I was through. I confessed to my now husband this at school. It hurt him, but he forgave me the same day. Things were great once more. Another year passes and I'm in another show at the theater. My husband is too. I get a lead role and I get close with my male counterpart in the show. I like talking to him and he was nice to dance with. The funny thing is, my husband played the suitor for my character in the show, and the guy played my character's love interest. We had more rehearsals and became close over time. All of a sudden, one night he reaches out to me in Facebook DMs and sends a funny video. I found it odd, but liked that he wanted to talk to me. He had a girlfriend at this time, and I was engaged. We had pretty clean conversation and never really talked dirty. But he then invited me to come and hang with him at his apartment. I was starting to fall for him. He was tall, handsome, and interesting. We hung out and got intimate really fast. I liked it. It lasted maybe a week or two. We hung out again and slept together. It was 2 a.m. when I woke up after the fact. I was living with my folks at the time. We met up once again and did it again. I was emotionally and physically involved with him. I even debated leaving my husband for him. He didn't feel the same. He said he couldn't do it anymore. We stopped. We both agreed to tell our so's. I told my husband, and it shattered him. He was furious and brokenhearted. He smacked me and choked me. This is the only physical altercation I have been in with him. He's not abusive. I deserved every bit of it. He took the engagement ring and told me to leave his apartment. He had me stuff all my things I had there into the closet in the hall. He said to give him a week and he would see how he felt. I was broken. I couldn't believe I did what I did. The whole week I cried every day and wrote him letters about how I felt. I was genuine repentant. I went to the apartment to pick something up and I knew he was there. I had to see him. He let me in and looked absolutely haggard. Poor thing. I regret that heavily. We spoke and he decided to give me a chance. He said if I did it again, he'd be done. We get married the next year, 2020. It was a beautiful wedding, absolutely perfect. But you need to know one thing. I grew up in an abusive household and my parents did not approve of my husband and I's engagement. We dated 3 years, got engaged, and married a year to the date of or anniversary after. It's been 5 years total now. I got kicked out over it in November, directly after we had dealt with my cheating. He never did a thing wrong. They even took him with us on several vacations. He's a firm believer in Christ as well. They were mad because he didn't ask for my hand from my dad. He knew my sad was going to say no and tell me about it, spoiling it. My parents didn't pay a dime for any piece of my wedding. My mother made me later to my own wedding being hung over. It was a small but intimate ceremony. We celebrated our 1 year anniversary this year, now the last time. The same first guy and I had been involved in a play together. He was assistant director and I was a lead role. Towards the end of the show, we started texting. It got a bit graphic. No photos or anything. Just dirty talk. I told myself I'd never actually do anything. I texted him, I just like that kind of attention. Being desired that way. This went on and I put a halt to it. Then I texted him again. Then I got intoxicated at the cast party and told him to meet me somewhere. We met up, kissed, no sex, he has a girlfriend. Then the next time we met was weeks later. I went to his house and we were alone. He wanted sex. I did not cave. We got close, but did not do to me saying no. After this, I told him I couldn't message him anymore and that I didn't want to betray my husband. He understood. At the time, I was getting into drinking and smoking with some friends at a mutual friend of ours' house. He would be there, of course. We always had this energy there that was hard to ignore, and being under the influence didn't help my case. We messaged again, occasionally. I tried not to get back into sexual talk with him. I was scared, though. I felt like I needed to make sure he would keep all of these occurrences to himself. Thus why I was speaking to him again. I felt pressured to continue due to my fear. The last time that we met was weeks later. I messaged asking if he wanted to meet. He asked if we would finally do it. I said maybe, but internally I said no. I got drunk before we met up, and that's why I caved in to sex with him. I didn't feel the pain and guilt of it till a day later. I ended things and we both mutually agreed to keep it to ourselves with no evidence. I went cold turkey with him for a few weeks, occasionally texting when the guilt got to me. My anxiety has been worse than ever. It's hard to sleep and eat. It's been 3 months since the incident, and I had gotten better except for when I met with him one last time. I kept my distance from him and we just talked. I told him my heart couldn't take betraying my husband anymore. I had gotten better with my anxiety at this point, but it resurged heavily after this meeting. This was roughly 2 weeks ago. I've been doing my best to be a better wife to him, and it's working. He says I'm better than I was those 3 months ago. I vowed to myself and him not to hang with that crowd, nor be associated with the theater anymore. I don't want to drink around anyone but my husband now. I'm scared. I love him deeply. I don't want to hurt him. This could never be an excuse, but I did wish he'd be more sexual with me. He's usually tired after work and never wants to have sex, and when he does, I sometimes don't want it. I've been trying to be better in all aspects for him. He says I've been perfect these past few months. He's been happy. I want to do the right thing. I'm scared of both possibilities, telling him or not. I've been advised by those on Quora saying in the majority that I shouldn't tell him. I'm just scared. I feel disgusted with myself for betraying his trust. He never ever deserved such a wench like me. It kills my knowing how I've broken a vow. I want to do what is best for my marriage. I prayed for God to forgive me and give me courage to do whatever the right thing is for this. I pray for my marriage to survive, no matter what I'm called to do. I've learned my lesson this time. I feel like him forgiving me has made me feel like I can do it, and it'd be okay. But keeping this secret, it's kept me from ever even dreaming of doing something like this again. I feel like it keeps me accountable. Not a day goes by that I don't feel the guilt and remorse for what I've done. I feel horrible. My husband has had too much trauma in his life. His father passed when he was 10, and I've caused all the other heartache already. I don't want to break his heart. I'm terrified. I will do whatever it takes to get our marriage where it needs to be. I believe marriage is for life. There's no one else I'd rather spend the rest of my life with. Edit. Wow. This community is cold-blooded. I guess I can't blame you. Thanks for the horrible honesty. It barely made a dent. I wrote this so detailed in each part because I felt it would be helpful when advising me. I take no pride in any of these encounters. They have been the darkest days of my life. Perhaps you're all right. I should toss in the towel for my marriage, but I don't know about that. I know I'm a nasty, disgraceful sinner to all of you. I see that, and I see it in myself first and foremost as well. I want help. I am confused, hurt, and scared. I hate myself, and I'm praying for a miracle over my circumstances. I know what I've done is a sin, a horrible one. I know that full well, thank you. It's never okay. I just want to fix things. I want to do my best. I've come to this resolution alone. Update. I'm going to confess to cheating on my husband 3 months ago tonight. I've messed up a third time in our relationship as a whole now. If you want more info, go to my profile and look at my first discussion. I'm a serial cheater, I guess. I'm ashamed of that title. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm a 21-year-old in a 1-year-old marriage with no kids. I'm a Christian, but you wouldn't think it by my actions. This weighs on my heart heavily. I want to do what God asks of me here, His will, not mine, no matter how horrible and painful it will be. I've kept my indiscretion to myself for 3 months now. I plan to keep it for life. I can't do that to my husband. I can't lie to the man I love. This may spell the end of my marriage. I know that much. I'm scared to death of what's going to happen. I want to follow God's lead in this, but it's hard to tell what I need to do. Let's check out the comments. Geez, just divorce. OP. Says one with no skin in the game on a computer screen. Surely you know that life is not so simple. You're a serial cheater. You will never stop. Never. No matter who you're with, you will cheat. Divorce your H. Give him a chance at finding a real life and real love. BC, you don't care about him or his feelings, and you damn sure don't respect him. You don't know how to love. Be single and have sex with everyone. You can both be happy that way. And there's no one else you'd rather spend your life with? How about the 3 guys that you've chosen over your husband? Surely they are your first 3 choices. Otherwise, why choose them over him over and over again? You barely know me, yet proceed to make judgment on what I will or will not do. How can you have any idea of that? I do care very much. I know it doesn't look that way from my actions, but I honestly do care for him. I'm sick with myself for hurting him so many times. I don't want to divorce him. I want to make it work. You say I don't know how to love. How can you know this? From one extra long paragraph, you know the depths of my person. That's a big assumption on your part. No, I wouldn't want to spend life with any of those creeps. I didn't love them. Never have, never will. It's only 2 guys, actually, and again, no way in hell. I don't want anything to do with them. All you seem to do is cheat. You continue to put yourself in ridiculous situations and then ultimately cheat. You are very young, immature, and broken. You certainly should not be married to anyone. Maybe one day, but it will take tremendous work on your part to be a safe partner for someone. Tell your husband that you cheated again. Divorce him. The fact that he has been violent with you is terrible. You should probably have someone there to stop him from getting physical when you tell him what you have done. Your marriage is very short and is not worth saving. I doubt it can be saved given the fact you can't stop cheating and he is physically abusive. You must divorce him and move on. He is physically abusive and you are a cheater. That is a terrible combination. Whether you will ever be a decent partner is up to you. You need intensive therapy with someone versed in infidelity to get to the bottom of your behavior. Hard to tell what you need to do. Seriously? Yes, you need to confess. Yes, your husband will probably divorce you. Then you need to figure out why you keep cheating. I think a therapist is a must for you. Then you move on with your life and try to be a better person. How about we change this starting today? I have been a serial cheater, or I was a serial cheater. You still need to confess, but you need to reframe this and never, never, never let it happen again. You are a young lady and you have a long life ahead of you. Don't be a serial cheater going forward. For Catholics, confessing to a priest and God can lead to a small measure of forgiveness. A husband is not a priest, nor should he act the saint. Tomorrow will be your first day in hell. You will survive, minus some skin off your naughty butt. Expect him to be confused, stunned, then angry. and then you will likely get that large measure of divorce. For Catholics, confessing to a priest and God can lead to a small measure of forgiveness. A husband is not a priest, nor should he act a saint. Tomorrow will be your first day in hell. You will survive, minus some skin off your naughty butt. Expect him to be confused, stunned, then angry, and then you will likely get that large measure of divorce.
What in the world? Ma'am, are you joking? You can't be serious. You can't be. You don't care about this man. You're talking about you're a Christian and you're religious, but you can't stop cheating on your husband. Yeah, you're constantly 3 times. Leave this man alone. Let him go. Leave him alone. You enjoy doing this to him. You're never gonna stop. Ever. You'll never stop. That's sad, man. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.